Good morning. I'm Pastor Cheree at New Awakening, and I hope that your day is off to an awesome start. You know, this Sunday, I'm so excited. It's Pentecost Sunday, and I've been asked, and I've been a fly on the wall and heard many of my members are asked, why do you all celebrate Pentecost? Why do you get so into Pentecost? And no, it's not because, as the pastor, I really love Pentecost Sunday, although it's true. And it's not that it coincides with our church anniversary. No. But why do I get so excited about celebrating Pentecost? I think it often goes unnoticed. If someone asked you before I just told you it was next Sunday, when is Pentecost, would you have known? We don't have signals for Pentecost like we do for other major church holidays or events or holy days. There's no Pentecost sales. There are no Pentecost commercials. We don't have Pentecost bunnies and elves. Christmas celebrates the coming of Christ. Emmanuel, remember, God with us. God has come to us. In Easter, we celebrate that Christ has died and risen and defeated death. But there's still more to the story. And I think that more to the story is Pentecost. Pentecost occurs 50 days after Easter in the Christian calendar, and it commemorates the outpouring of the Holy Spirit upon the early disciples of Jesus. And it's mostly recorded in the book of Acts. And it marks the birth of the Christian church and how we, just as those original disciples, are empowered to spread the message of Jesus to the ends of the earth. So why do we at New Awakening celebrate Pentecost? I think as a pastor, it's a time to utilize my theological imagination to find ways to remind people of how vital, how special this gift of the often overlooked Holy Spirit is in our lives. How the Holy Spirit invites us on this Christian journey. How the Holy Spirit guides us. How it goes before us. How the Holy Spirit empowers us and equips us for whatever purpose or work we are called to in the kingdom. And that excites me. So I wear red, and I encourage my congregation to wear red on Pentecost. Why? Because it represents fire, which is a prominent symbol of the Holy Spirit in the Bible. I guess you'd say we're hot for Pentecost at New Awakening. We decorate with balloons, we use bubbles, we use streamers, just to remind ourselves of the unlimited possibilities of where you can be taken and how you can be lifted in mission through the power of the person of the Holy Spirit. Why do we celebrate Pentecost? Remember, the disciples had been with Jesus 3 years, experiencing ministry up close and personal. But after the resurrection and before Jesus ascends, Jesus knew they needed more before he returned to heaven. In essence, Jesus tells the apostles, you are not done yet. Go wait for the Holy Spirit. So they went back to Jerusalem and they waited. And when the time came to celebrate the Pentecost, or the Jewish feast celebrating the giving of the law, something totally unexpected happened. And it says, and suddenly a sound came from heaven like the rush of a mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared to them tongues as of fire, distributed and resting on each one of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. And that's from Acts chapter 2, verses 2 through 4. So God, in the person of the Holy Spirit, had come. And just like Christmas celebrates the coming of Christ, Pentecost marks the coming of the Holy Spirit. In Christmas, we celebrate that God has come for us. In Pentecost, we rejoice that God has come to dwell within us. Do you feel hot? Do you feel on fire? Are you firing your spiritual gifts in all directions, full force ahead for the kingdom? Or are you happy and anxious that you are empowered to share the good news of Jesus? You know, even though the apostles were believers, even though they knew Jesus, they weren't quite ready. They had received the Spirit for faith, and yet the power of the Holy Spirit was still missing in many of them. And as a Christian, many of us, the Holy Spirit already has touched us. It's touched us through baptism or confirmation, and for some of us through ordination. But we celebrate and we rejoice in Pentecost because we celebrate this amazing ability and time to rekindle that flame. Yes, we're on fire about Pentecost, to renew our commitment to following Christ and to allow the Spirit to work in and through us to fulfill the mission of bringing change and transformation in our communities that's so desperately needed. We celebrate Pentecost with joy and gratitude, knowing that we are never alone, but that the Spirit of God is always with us, within us, guiding us and empowering us to live our best lives ever for the kingdom and to live out our faith in the world. Next Sunday, we will begin a new sermon series here at New Awakening on living a Holy Spirit-fueled life. We are going to celebrate Pentecost on Sunday. We're going to wear red. We're going to fellowship. We're going to have fun and passionate worship. And did I say, most of all, we're going to remember that it's all about the Trinity. But more importantly, if you'd like to come join us, everyone is welcome. And to top it all off, we will have a free brunch following service. So I hope if you don't have a church home, or you're visiting in town, or you're just looking to experience something maybe a little different, stop by at 9 a.m. at New Awakening, 8000 Natural Bridge Road. I'm Pastor Cheree, and I'm out the door.